It is so cool to be in the space of people who are living out their prayers, their dreams, and their actions. It's why we gather together. We love to rub shoulders and to be with those who remind us of the potential that we have. We can sit home, and that does exclude you who are watching online. But you tap into this presence here. All of us do. We could choose to shut ourselves up and avoid the tough discussions, to think that what is in front of us is hopeless. In 2002, one of you decided to run for Oakland County Commissioner. You served until 2010. You decided to run for the mayor of Ferndale, all the while serving Renaissance Unity, serving as the president of the board. Getting the call when an opportunity arose and spirit moved. And I remember being on the phone with you and saying, "Why not you?" And you said, "Don't think I'm not thinking about it." And in the quiet and in the moment where no one knew that the hand of the divine was at work, David Coulter said yes, and now, since 2019, has served not only in this community, but the entire community of Oakland County. And I would tell you, his leadership isn't just changing what's going on in Oakland County, in our community, but it is in the Tri-County area, in the state of Michigan, and I dare say, in this world. Will you join me in welcoming David Coulter?
Wow. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it.
We've done this before.
We have once or twice, yes. It's been a little while.
For those of you who don't know and are new to the community, David helped us navigate an incredible time as a spiritual community. If it wasn't for your leadership in Renaissance Unity, we never would stand here today. I said that to you when we were greeting each other this morning. We wouldn't be here today. And for those of us who are here for the first time or are new to this community, I want you to know that. And when I say he delivered us, I don't mean in some small way. I mean in a big way. I mean in a way that at the time, we had a good friend, in quotes please, who decided that our church property was no longer church property, it was commercial property, and therefore we owed the city of Warren over $1 million that was preventing us to be able to move forward. And this guy over here is having lunch, and somebody who knew how to fix the problem heard him and did for free. But you didn't come to talk about that this morning. You're up to some good stuff. What have you been up to the last 5 years?
Well, more of that. You know, if my career has taught me anything, it's that you just have to put your intention out there and be open and then patient enough to wait until it shows up. And that is you remember the details of that. I had no idea. You and I talked about that a lot. How are we going to get out of this? It was a rather powerful person that was leaning against us and trying to hold us back. And a divine intervention said, here's a guy who knows about this stuff, can help, and we'll do it for free. And it was amazing. And mostly I just try to continue to do that. Do what is mine to do as I'm given guidance to do that. And that's how I go about this job and everything else in my life for that matter.
Now, when you ended up in this job as the executive of Oakland County,
yeah,
you're the third executive Oakland County has ever had.
Yeah.
This was not on your treasure map. This wasn't part of a we were good mastermind partners.
We were mastermind partners at the time.
But this was not a mastermind request that you had.
Right?
Not one.
No.
Not even close.
No.
In fact, if I had suggested it, you might have laughed at me. But through a series of things that emerged, you were the right person at the right time to be able to lead this county forward. Yeah. But I'm curious, behind the scenes, in this county, everything that you did in your career, in your spiritual walk, what have you become aware of in this county that causes your leadership to be so important, especially today and moving forward?
I thought I was prepared for the job. I had been mayor, but it's so much bigger. Oakland County is bigger than 9 states. It's a very large place. It's a very diverse place. And I knew that, but my predecessor, without, saying anything about him negatively, did not lift up and celebrate the diversity of this county in a way that I think not only should be done, but is helpful for our success to do. And so, I quickly realized, well, I'll tell you a story. I get 5 deputies to help me do this job. For 40-some years that the other 2 executives had been here, there had never been anyone but a white male, a straight white male in that role. I mean, that just tells you something, let's just say. And I was committed to having a diverse staff of folks to help me. And one of them was a guy by the name of Rudy Hobbs, who I know. I invited him to work with me, and he said he would. And on his first day on the job, he said, okay, I'm here to go up to the 5th floor. That's the executive floor. And the guards wouldn't let him in. They wouldn't let him in. And he explained who he was, and they said, yeah, no, well, I'm going to have to call up and make sure this is okay. And then they went up with him to make sure that it was okay. This gives you a sense of what we were doing. So I knew immediately that it was going to be my job to be an executive for everybody, not just people who look like me. And I spent a lot of time just listening and going out. It's one of the reasons I haven't been here as much as I want. It's a big county and I run around a lot, but I go out to community groups and communities that I don't know as well as I know my own. I know Ferndale, I know what the issues are there, and listen to what their hopes and their aspirations and their fears are and try to be a voice for that.
Rudy Hobbs had been in the state house.
In the state legislature. He was an influential lobbyist in Lansing. This was not an unprofessional man. This was a very qualified man. He had run for Congress and came very close to winning. So this was, this was disgusting to me when I heard that, but not surprising, unfortunately.
And not surprising to the majority of you who are here today, correct? Not surprising. You said something to me this week about the importance of being present in the face of obstacles, and to not run and to hide and not to spiritually bypass it either. Oh, we'll just pray it away. You were very clear on this. What was your perspective?
I guess what I meant by that is surrendering to what it is that's yours to do is not weakness. It's not I give up and you take over. It's being open and aware of what's in front of you and what is yours to do. When you and others originally asked me to run for the board at Renaissance Unity, my first response is, I don't want all that responsibility. I love coming to church and just being myself. I'm on my own spiritual journey here, dude. I'm still working on me. I think my first response in my head was, I don't know about that. But I thought about it. I prayed about it. I meditated on it, and I said, okay, if that's a step I should take. And then the same thing as the board chair was right when we were facing all of this financial problems, and I didn't want to take that on, to be honest with you. My human self said, somebody else can do that. Brett's got this. Brett is amazing. Brett can get us out of anything. But, and so I continue to do that. It's been remarkable. Most politicians, I'll be honest with you, they have a path. They know where they want to go, and they're figuring out how to get there. My entire political career has been, oh, really? Oh, well, let me think about that. And I typically don't think long because I've developed through this community a pretty quick response time from the big guy. It doesn't take me long to know, yeah, that feels right. That's what you're supposed to do. And so, or not. And I try to listen to that. I don't always. I'm not perfect. I sometimes mishear, but that's what I try to do.
So you made a decision in 2019 to listen to your guidance, and then you made a decision to run beyond the appointment.
Yep.
And that was a decision that you needed to tune into. Yeah. And here we are in 2024.
Because, by the way, I didn't realize that once I got appointed to the position after my predecessor died, I thought people would be asking me, well, what are you going to do? What do you think we should do about this, that, or the other thing? No, the only question anybody had was, are you going to run next year? Are you going to run next year? It was political right away. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I don't know. Haven't prayed on that yet. I'm just going to try to not mess this up for the next 16 months. But that's the question I got all the time, and it was a question I realized I had to figure out an answer to. So once again, I said, I don't know, is that mine to do? How can I do that? I don't know how I'm going to do that. And I'll just, be real with you. Politics and campaigns are about how much money you can raise. They really are, and that's just the nature of politics. I had never run a race. I'd been a county commissioner for 4 terms, the mayor for 4 terms. I'd never run a race that cost more than $20,000. So, this race was going to be more than, north of $1 million. So my human voice says, I don't know how to raise $1 million. I don't know that many people with that much money. I don't know how to do that. But again, shut up, Dave. Listen, try to take in, and listen to what you're supposed to do. And if you feel like that is what you're, called to do, then trust that somehow things will align and it will come to you. And it did. And the other thing I was worried about is, because I'd never raised that much money, is I don't want to make promises to people. This can't be quid pro quo. I'm not going to take calls and say, okay, for $10,000, I'll fix a permit or something. I said, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be on the terms of just, you give it to me because you believe in me, you believe in what I'm trying to do, not because I can do anything for you. And I can say to this day, I've never taken a donation from someone who needed something specific in return.
So it's 2024.
Yeah, here we are.
And you're not the type of person who's just going to run because you've got the office. We've heard you this morning. We've watched you for years. We know that isn't your nature. And we know that you tap into the why now. Why now?
Yeah.
So why now?
Yeah.
Why are you running?
That's a good question, because once again, so I've had a 4-year term. I'm up again this year. I'm now 64 years old. Thank you for every day above ground. But when I was in my 50s, before I was county executive, I became very focused on, again, in my mind, how soon can I retire? How much money do I have to save so that I can retire as early as possible? Because in my mind, retirement was the goal. I want to be young enough to be healthy, enjoy my retirement years. I've had a lot of family that didn't get much further than their 70s, and even in their 70s, they weren't in great health. I sort of saw that for my life. No, I want some healthy years. So my initial thought was, no, I did what I was to do. 5 years, we'll change the direction, we'll hand it off to someone else. Why I decided to run is because I love my job more than I ever expected. I love my job more than I love my dream of retirement. I really do. Not for the title, not for all the stuff, but for the difference that we get to make. And I feel like we're not done yet. I have a team of people helping me do this because it's a collaborative effort. It's not about me. It's about these other folks that are doing the work. But I get to help set the direction. And so I feel like we're making great progress, but progress is slow. I didn't get a magic wand when I took over, so things don't happen immediately. So more to do.
So when you were appointed to fill the position, you were a white male appointed in that position that looked very much like the leadership you had talked about at every level prior to you, with the exception of the fact that you were a gay male.
Yeah.
And you broke that barrier. Mm-hmm. A few weeks ago, you were at the airport and you greeted somebody who's breaking a barrier too.
Yeah.
And my bringing this up isn't a political statement. it is a point around the evolution of community. You broke a barrier. What was it like for you to stand on the tarmac and to greet the vice president?
I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I get to meet a lot of people, a lot of important people, a lot of wealthy people in this job. Watching her come down that plane with not only who she is, you know, if she were to be elected, the first woman, the first black woman to ever be elected, but watching her come down the stairs, come down that plane with the confidence, with the swagger that she has, I just resonated that this is a woman. And I'll be honest with you, 4 years ago, I supported somebody else in the Democratic primary. You know, I didn't know that much about her. I didn't know how much I liked her or not. But what I've seen of her over the last, 3 or 4 months is that to me, she seems like a woman who has stepped into what's hers to do now. Win or lose, she has stepped into what is hers to do now. And I watched that and I saw that. And then when she came over and talked to me, typically you get a handshake and a welcome to Michigan, and then they move on the line. She stood there for like a couple minutes, just being authentic, and it came through. And I said, I really admire that about, beyond all her other qualities. She's smart, she's talented, she's experienced, but she's authentic as hell. Can I say that in church? She is the real deal to me anyway, at least what I saw. And so I left with a confidence that win or lose, this woman is doing what she's supposed to do. And what I told her is, I got your back. I got your back. In Oakland County anyway, I'll do what I can do to help you.
So one last question, and then we tend to pray for people who come here. You remember that, right?
That.
So we'll get to that in a minute. But this is, I believe, one of the most powerful, and it doesn't matter, it's not like, we don't get a card that says, oh, you're a member of a powerful spiritual community. We don't play that game, right? We don't. We believe that anywhere, anyone who gathers and believes that there's a presence and a power there for all. This isn't an exclusive club, but we have an exclusive, inclusive message, which is that all have the opportunity. So this is a powerful gathering.
I know.
So
nothing I've done you can't do, or whatever it is that you want to do. You know this, you're in unity, you know the truth, but it is the truth, and I hope you see in me that you can do all this and more, right, Reverend Wilma? All this and more.
So within this county,
Yeah.
what is it that you need the faith to be able to pour into what you see as a bridge that needs to be crossed in the next 4 years? The assumption is that you're going to be in the county executive seat. It's appointed, it's anointed, and you're working hard for it. But in the next 4 years, what can this community believe in for you that is beyond the belief of those who surround you?
When I look at this next 4 years, what I need is, we pray most. I mean, no. Let me put this another way. What do they say? We teach best what we most need to learn. Is I think the phrase. So I'm out here teaching you to be in the moment and listen to divine guidance and all of that. But I also need to be reminded of that on a regular basis. Every day something else comes up. Every day some issue that I didn't expect becomes an issue, or maybe it's an issue, or maybe it's not. You got to discern it. And I fall short. There are days when I let my human mind worry, look ahead, wonder about, instead of just being still in that moment. And so, if you are at all inclined to pray for me and think about me, it's just that peace that comes in the moment of discerning. Because I'm pretty good at, once I've discerned, I can execute. But I don't always discern exactly what it is that I need to do. Sometimes that I struggle. I think we all do. So if you can just hold that peace and that presence in the moment for me, that would be wonderful.
So everybody comes before us, we know that they come with a job to do, but we always turn it back to what is on the inside for you personally. So what is it that we can pray for you personally?
Oh.
We know your family is close to your heart.
Yeah.
And beyond your family,
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be my family. I will tell you this. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm of the age now where I have elderly parents. My mom has once again been detected with cancer. She's going to start radiation. They think it's treatable, but so there's that. This weekend, we had to put my stepdad into hospice. So he's near the end of his journey. One of my very dear friends, Andy, my old college roommate, had a massive heart attack and needed triple bypass surgery this week. So all of these things this week. So I've been channeling my Mother Teresa this week. Okay, Mother Teresa once said, I see you nodding, God, I know you don't give me anything I can't handle, but some days I wish you didn't trust me so much. So I was sitting at my stepdad's bed the other day, feeling sorry for myself and for him and whatever, and it did just come over me. This is the only moment that counts, Dave. Just hold his hand, be with him, tell him you love him, and that's it. That's all that's yours to do. And so, again, same thing. In the moment, do what's yours to do, and the rest of it will be what it will be.
So will you do what is yours to do? Will you rise? And if you're tuned in and watching, would you extend your hands and your hearts? This is a brother. This is a member of our family. This is somebody that we have known, somebody that we have prayed with, prayed over, believed in, believed beyond. And you heard from his heart this morning. What moved him most emotionally was what he just shared. Had you shared any of that with me this week about what? None of it.
No, I haven't just
None of it. He's opening his heart to all of us. So David Coulter, let your eyes rest on all who love you.
Thank you.
We pray for you. We believe in you. We know for you that this is a divine calling, like it is for all of us, but one that you've willingly embraced. We see your family feeling the love that is present in this room flowing through you. That is the healing that's taking place. We see you as a champion for all. We see this personal journey of you moving forward with your family, not just influencing you there, but changing the lives of all who are connected with you anywhere, always, in all ways. We love you and bless you, David.
Thank you. God bless you and thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.